The Russian capital is experiencing something of a cold spell. Whenever the temperature here plummets to well below zero, the great river Moscow becomes a vast sheet of ice. A few days ago, I was standing on the embankment, staring out over this frozen landscape, when I saw a boat cutting through the ice and leaving behind it a trail of shards bobbing up and down in the water. Moscow's ice-breaking pleasure boats and river taxis have exotic names, like the Pearl, the River Palace, the Snow Leopard. Right there on the riverbank, it suddenly occurred to me that the scene I was witnessing is playing out on a global scale. Right now, a gigantic icebreaker is sailing full steam ahead, shredding the old world order, tearing apart long-standing alliances. And the name of that ship? The Donald Trump. America's president has been accused of bullying Denmark. He says he won't use force. He's been demanding control of Greenland to save them from China and Russia, he says, all the while publicly insulting allies in NATO and across Europe. If you can hear something cracking, it's probably the sound of the Western alliance fracturing. And that is music to Moscow's ears. Writing on the subject, the pro-Kremlin tabloid Moskovsky Komsomolets gloated. Europe is at a total loss, and to be honest, it's a pleasure to watch this. That is because any weakness in the West, any hint of damage to Western unity, is perceived here as a geopolitical victory for the Kremlin. As for the consequences of an American president who demands Greenland and who orders an operation to seize the leader of Venezuela, for Moscow, this provides a golden opportunity to argue, well, if the White House can throw its weight around in the name of national security, then so can we. Pro-Kremlin commentators have been using President Trump's actions to justify Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. There is much about Donald Trump that the Kremlin likes. Unlike Joe Biden, he doesn't lecture Russia on human rights or democracy. He recognizes that Moscow has particular security concerns. He's clearly keen to develop closer ties, a mutually beneficial partnership with President Putin and with Russia. He's a deal maker, which suits the Kremlin just fine. Crucially for Moscow, President Trump has demonstrated a keenness to exert considerable pressure on Ukraine and on President Zelensky. With Donald Trump in the White House, Russia feels more confident it can secure an end to the war on Moscow's terms. But be careful what you wish for. One of the casualties of the Trump icebreaker is predictability, and that could be dangerous for Russia too. From all the novels I've read since high school, I know that unpredictability drives people crazy, Konstantin Remchukov tells me. He's the owner and editor-in-chief of the private broadsheet Nezavissimaya Gazeta. We meet in the office of his newspaper. For example, recalls Konstantin, in Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, unpredictability drove the main character mad. To set the entire world according to the principle of unpredictability, because there is no international law, that will drive a lot of people and a lot of regimes crazy. Maybe even those that think they will benefit from it. You can sense this air of unpredictability too on the streets of Moscow. I ask passers-by what they make of Icebreaker Trump. He does one thing one day, the opposite thing the next, Svetlana says. Watching Trump is like being at the circus or at the theatre. He's not our ally, Juliana tells me. To begin with, I thought he was, but now he started playing his own game, and his aggressive attitude towards Venezuela recently and to its president was unexpected and incomprehensible. In a recent interview to the New York Times, Donald Trump was asked whether there were any limits to his global power. My own morality, he replied, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me. Russian newspaper editor Konstantin Remchukov finds that less than reassuring. When Trump said that international law exists only within his morality, Konstantin says, the question is, what to do if there is no morality? Then it exists in the head of a person with no moral power, but with overwhelming military power. And that, says Konstantin, is an absolutely different picture of the world.